Welcome back to ShowBiz Tonight. It is 30 minutes past the hour. I'm A.J. Hammer in New York with big news breaking today. Return of the Real Housewives. Yep, it's official. Tonight we know the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills will be back on Monday as scheduled. All sorts of reports have been flying around about if, when, and what should happen when the reality show returned after, of course, the tragic death of Russell Armstrong. Well, tonight, ShowBiz Tonight has the highly anticipated brand new details, but as details emerge, there are more questions than ever about the future of the show and one of its stars, of course, Russell's ex, Taylor Armstrong. With me in New York, Vinny Penn. He is the host of radio's The Vinny Penn Project. All right, I want to get right to the statement that ShowBiz Tonight got from Bravo today. Here's what they're telling us. Bravo will proceed with the September 5 premiere date of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Given that these episodes were filmed months ago, the producers of the show taped a brief interview this week with several of the cast members to introduce the premiere. Re-editing of the episodes is still underway. Now, this, of course, a direct response to the flurry of reports that there was going to be some kind of a special show focusing on Russell's suicide. I thought that actually would have been a real risky move. So the show is going on as scheduled 3 weeks to the day that Russell Armstrong was found dead. Vinny, do you think they made the right move here?
I think it's either pull the show completely or, yeah, you know, address it and fuse it in. I think to draw lines now with these gals is we're kind of past that point. You know, Bravo seems like the wrong network all along for this kind of show. That word lends itself to sophistication, I think.
Well, yes, they have...
Is there a network? Yow. That's more fitting.
They have changed their programming model, but as far as doing this special, a lot of people were worried that it would seem to capitalize too much on the tragic death of Russell Armstrong.
I think the PSA is powerful and is a good move rather than ignoring it.
Yeah, no, they have to address it, absolutely, and Bravo is going to be airing these PSAs about suicide prevention throughout the show. Here's the thing, though. Got to keep in mind, as much as they run PSAs, they do any edits to the show, there's still a family grieving here. Taylor will relive her final troubled moments with Russell as all the world is watching. Maggie Furlong is joining us from Hollywood. She's the West Coast editor for AOL TV. Maggie, in your mind, did Bravo make the right decision here?
I mean, absolutely. At the end of the day, it's a business decision, and I think if they delayed it any longer, we'd start to wonder, how much are they taking out? What aren't we seeing? I think the fact that this is still such fresh news and they want the other women to kind of sound off, I'm a little disappointed that Taylor won't be doing her own confessional about the situation, but it's obviously still very raw with her. But I think they're going about it the right way. People want to know more. People want to see what's going on, and they'll continue to edit things out throughout the season, you know, just to make sure that he's not shown in such a horrible light after his death.
And we continue to learn new things about this disturbing story. There's another disturbing development just uncovered, the 911 tape of the moments just after a friend found Russell Armstrong's lifeless body. ShowBiz Tonight has decided not to air the call, but when we listen to it, there's a woman who's believed to be Taylor Armstrong sobbing uncontrollably in the background. The distraught friend who called also reveals details of Taylor and Russell's troubled marriage to the 911 operator. Meanwhile, TV networks have reportedly been reaching out to Taylor for her very first interview. In fact, Radar Online reports today that Taylor wants to speak with Barbara Walters. And Vinny, I think if she wants to do it, for all the right reasons, it is a good move because there's a lot of speculation and rumor out there that needs to be cleared up. What do you think?
Well, unless she approaches it in a way where she's just trying to purge any guilt she might be, or blame, just get herself out of jail free card, so to speak. If she's in pain, in agony, and wants to set the record straight, so to speak, I think that's powerful stuff.
Well, of course, it's going to be up to whoever does the interview. Let's say it's Barbara Walters, to come up with the right questions to ask. Maggie, what do you think? Good idea?
I mean, I just worry, why is she doing it in the first place? Obviously, she's an open book. She's on The Housewives. Pretty much everything gets shown. But again, she didn't do these interviews talking about Russell's death and what happened. I'm wondering if she's waiting for a bigger paycheck. And if so, that would just break my heart.
Well, yeah.
You shouldn't be profiting off a tragedy.
And I would like to believe if she's going to speak with Barbara Walters and they're not going to pay for an interview, you know, there's been so much about that going on ever since the Casey Anthony case. Nobody's paying for these types of interviews anymore. So I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't know that we could expect a whole lot of decorum with wig-tugging, table-flipping gals. I don't know what we can expect
I think we would see a different side of her for sure.
I would hope so.
And again, and I go back to this, Maggie, when you say you don't know why she would do it, there's been so much rumor and speculation that's been flying around out there since Russell died. I think she does want to set the record straight. But right now, I do have to move on to this. It's another big story breaking today. Miranda Lambert's cheating heart. Miranda Lambert says in an intimate new TV interview that, yes, she fell for her husband, country star, and the voice judge Blake Shelton, while he was still married to his first wife. Miranda tells NBC's Dateline that even though she knew it was so wrong, it felt so right.
Well, I knew he was married. I knew better. Like, this is off limits. My parents are private investigators, for God's sakes. So,
were you tempted?
You know, it was one of those things where we spent time together and we're like, we can be friends because we had so much in common. And it was a thing of, how do you separate that? Like, I've got to separate this emotion, and for him too. And there was a time where it was like, we're not going to talk, or we're going to cut this off before it gets worse.
Yeah, well, that plan didn't work out so well because Blake left his wife a year after meeting Miranda. Miranda, in fact, sang about it in her song, The House That Built Me. All right, Maggie, I got to get your take on this. I do appreciate her candor, but do you think Miranda's honesty is refreshing, or is it just wrong and maybe she shouldn't have been so open about all this?
You know, I think it's refreshing. Anyone that looks at their history and looks at the dates, I mean, Blake Shelton was married from 03 to 06, and they technically started dating in 2005. So, hi, it's right there. I think it's refreshing that she's at least coming out and saying that she was concerned about it and that it wasn't something that she, you know, didn't give a second thought to. I love them as a couple. I think they're very happy, and things happen. Things come up. Yeah. So I was happy that she came out and said something.
The heart wants what the heart wants, but here's something that jumps out at me. Even though the sparks were flying between Miranda and Blake while he was still married, they didn't get hitched for 5 years after they met. They weren't doing anything, as far as we know, untoward while he was still married. So, Vinny, do you think anybody who's out there crying homewrecker really needs to take it down a notch and calm down, give her some slack?
I just don't. Isn't this the crazy ex-girlfriend who lit a guy's house on fire for doing her wrong? Who leaves their wife for that? Who makes the decision? Yeah, I'm going to go with the kerosene girl who, if things go awry, may light my house on fire.
To be clear, Vinny is referring to a character from a song Miranda Lambert sang, not Miranda herself. At the end of the day, it has the makings of a great country song.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. Absolutely.
Vinny Penn, Maggie Furlong, thank you both. Moving on now to Jay.